Hey everyone, this is Jelaila Star. Welcome to my weekly messages. Today the topic is what's killing the fish and the birds all over the world, and now it sounds like people as well. Well, from what the Nibiruans tell me, because I did tune in and ask, is more than one thing. And what is kind of alarming is they said part of it, look to your own government. The reason that's alarming is because that's what they said at 9/11, and evidence now shows that our government, it was a conspiracy, or if you will, within our own government, a plan to bring that down, to affect some of the changes that we now have in our world, which is, here in the United States, we live in a police state, even though they're working hard to make people think that they're still free. But it's a different topic. So, when they said that, I began my research, because I was like, okay, they expect me to do that anyway. And thanks to many of you who sent a lot of research links, I've been able to, compile information much faster and be able to share it with you in today's message. So let's start with the non-government part of what I understand is causing the death of fish and birds all over the world. This involves, of course, the approach of Nibiru, Planet X. It is inbound from the southern hemisphere. It's coming up. The people in the southern hemisphere will see it first. Australia, New Zealand, the Antarctic. They'll see it first because it's coming up from, as it comes up, it will cross over the elliptical plane, up over the sun, and back down on the other side. And why it is indirectly a cause of this problem is a result of a ring node hit, if you will. Now, a ring node, every planet orbits on a ring node. A ring node is like that hula hoop that is that force that's created when a planet or a star spins. It creates a force around it, and each planet of our solar system orbits on a ring. It's like a hula hoop around its star. So our Earth orbits on a ring. Well, Nibiru is also a star, but it's a star that never ignited, and it has moons and asteroids and such orbiting it on ring nodes. Well, here's the thing. We orbit in this direction, so to speak, this way, and Nibiru is almost to us on its side orbiting. So its ring nodes, when they come, as it moves forward or comes up from the south, its planets, its moons, and their ring nodes are slicing through our orbital, plane, sort of like a buzzsaw. And each one of these fields has each one of these ring nodes, because it's magnetic, is able to reach down into the core of our planet and actually lift and pull up whole land masses and push down land masses, which there's evidence on our planet that has happened in the past, such as at the time of the fall of Atlantis. So at winter solstice, because we're on the same side of the sun as Nibiru, inbound Nibiru, on the winter and summer solstice, we were in close enough proximity to have what you could kind of call, not quite a glancing blow, but it may have been. I haven't done all the research to know just how close we were. But what we did notice is that our planet actually shook for 24 hours. We had earthquakes all over the world. The most intense being a 7.4 in Japan. Well, stop and think about it. When a planet shakes for 24 hours, and it shook because not only Nibiru pulling on it, but the moon is also wobbling. So you have these two forces, a ring node, which isn't exactly the most stable energy, and a moon that's wobbling a little bit. They're both shaking a planet that they're pulling in between them. So we're like, for 24 hours. When that happens, the tectonic plates, or the crust of the planet, which basically sloshes around, it slips and slides on a molten core, there's going to be some after effects. Well, there's methane gas underneath the crust of the planet, and that is what comes up through volcanoes. Well, if you have all this methane gas, it's going to start coming up through the fissures in the crust of the earth, and you're going to see earthquakes. I mean, you're going to see volcanoes start to erupt, and just recently Mount Etna has erupted again, and I think there's some others as well. So we're seeing the results of this shaking for 24 hours. And the release of this methane gas could cause some of the fish to die and some of the birds to die if they're in the area. Another thing that would be a result of this is the magnetic poles shifting. That can disorient birds and fish and cause that as well. So, and you know, there's plenty of research out there. I've added some links at the end of this video and on my weekly message for you to go look at certain websites that do have some of this information. Okay, so the other thing is something that I found was kind of alarming, which is what they call Operation Black Swan. Operation Black Swan is a plan by the global elite to depopulate the planet. And they're doing it using, well, they're going to do it many ways, but one of the things that they're doing right now is they're using phosgene gas. Phosgene gas is a biological weapon. It was used in World War I, I think it was World War II. It was also in the hands of Saddam Hussein, and and that's what they confiscated. The government, our government confiscated in Iraq when we went in there looking for the weapons of mass destruction. This phosphine gas was supposedly stored underground in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And if you remember, a lot of the first reports were of dead birds in Arkansas. Supposedly they are using this gas in the chemtrails. And there's been a lot of heavy chemtrail activity since, for the first time in a while, especially around my area. I noticed it the other day. It was pretty heavy. Now, supposedly they're using the phosgene gas in some of the chemtrail activity, not just here in the United States, but in other areas of the world, with the intent of depopulating certain areas. If you have phosgene poisoning, as one of these video links will explain, you will have what appears to be bronchitis and a hacking cough. And but that's really not what it is. It's phosgene poisoning. And one of the videos, and like I said, the one I just referred to, will give you what you can do to heal yourself from the phosgene poisoning. But it is supposedly going to cause deaths all over because people will misdiagnose it, and they will not do the right thing to heal themselves, and they will not get well. And if you have bronchitis, that can become pneumonia, and if your lungs fill with fluid, you can die, as you know. Okay, so that is supposedly and the phosgene gas is what's causing the fish to die and the birds to die. It's actually liquefying their organs, and when they hit the ground, of course, it's a traumatic impact, and that's why their eyes look like they're bulging out and their beaks are open. They're still researching that to see if there's a connection, but my hit on it is that there is a connection. Now, I don't want to leave you feeling all this fear, because that isn't going to do any good. To be angry at the government, to be angry and afraid that all these things are happening, yes, that is very normal. Feel those feelings, but don't get stuck there. Remember, everything has a purpose. All this is happening for a reason. We are 2 years from crossing the galactic, through that field of energy coming out of the galactic core, the galactic superwave. You can call it the photon band or whatever. We're coming into the inner portions of that, where whatever we're carrying inside is going to manifest much faster. This is our time to purge and dump. There's got to be a catalyst for our purging and dumping. Otherwise, we'll go on through our everyday life and not doing any kind of internal work. So you could say the powers that be, with their black swan operation and whatever, they're all part of the catalyst to get us to wake up and do that clearing. So ultimately, once again, the dark serves the light. So feel your feelings when you go to these websites that I give you the links to. I don't agree with everything they say, but what I want you to know is go look at the research. And know that all this has a purpose. It is going to help us make that shift that we're trying to make. So keep that in mind. Go to the higher perspective. Achieve your compassion. When you do, that's how you create your safety, doing your own emotional clearing, finding value in whatever it is, releasing yourself from victimhood. As you do that, you will help to minimize a lot of the changes that could still happen. In fact, we've already been successful in minimizing a lot of them because we're stepping out of our victimhood. So keep it all in mind, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.